Secrets. Most people have them. Some get found out and others are kept for a lifetime. But what would you do if you had a secret you wanted to tell but couldn't? Would you sit around and hope that people would discover it for themselves? Or would you leave a trail of clues, hoping that someone, somewhere would decipher what they were trying to tell you, without actually having to tell it themselves? Phillip Schofield might have lost everything, but he hasn't lost the ability to communicate. He still has the power to reach the masses via the media, judging by the mass coverage garnered from the public appearances he's made since his departure from ITV This Morning. Meanwhile, over the last few months, Phillip's alleged former bestie, Holly Willoughby, seems to have withered into a frail ghost-like version of herself, and only a few weeks ago, she was pictured scurrying home early from the NTA Awards with her husband Dan Baldwin in tow after spending the night flanked by a security guard. Now there's been an alleged plot to kidnap and kill her. Gavin Plum, 36, a security guard at a shopping centre in Essex, was apparently a loner and had allegedly planned to assemble a restraint kit at home where he had also stashed weapons. Interestingly, he is alleged to have contacted a hitman in the US to snatch and murder the This Morning star. When we read that, alarm bells rang loudly in our ears, especially since on the day this man was arrested, Holly Willoughby's former bestie, Phillip Schofield, was pictured holding a book, entitled In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, an American author. A strange coincidence, some could say. Prosecuting Shafee Begum told the court that Gavin Plum, who was wearing a green t-shirt with the slogan Age to Perfection, was part of a vast network of like-minded individuals and had a detailed plan. Ms. Begum said that weapons had been found in his flat and that he had conspired with a man from the United States and arranged for him to fly to Britain. The accomplice has not been arrested. Ms. Begum told the court, in this matter, he's made detailed plans with another to kidnap and murder. He had arranged flights and transfers for these offenses to be carried out. According to the charges, Gavin Plum, a former fast food outlet worker who has previously confessed to having mental health difficulties and who was confined to his house for years, allegedly solicited, encouraged, persuaded, endeavored to persuade, or proposed to murder Holly. Would he have had the wherewithal to construct such a plot? Doubtful in our opinion. And what was his motive for doing so? Remanding him in custody, District Judge Caroline Jackson said, "Items were found at your home that would have been used to carry out the offenses you are charged with. The other party is abroad and preparations had been made for him to arrive in the UK next week. These are very serious allegations you are facing." For several months now, even years, you might have noticed that Holly Willoughby and Phillip Schofield have featured on the front pages of the newspapers time and time again. What is the fascination with these two? Scandal after scandal, which has led, ultimately, to Holly being under 24/7 police guard. Phillip Schofield has made several public appearances since the news of his affair with a young runner broke, right up until the day that a man was charged with an alleged plot to kidnap Holly Willoughby. We decided to take a look back over the photographs of Phillip that have made the headlines, when the paparazzi just so happened to be right there at that very moment in time to capture the scene. In some of the first photographs taken after the scandal, Phillip is pictured inside a black car along with his daughter, who was in the back seat, and they were reportedly being driven by an ITV driver. Schofield was also photographed in Cornwall visiting his mother wearing a distinctive white hoodie. In another of his public outings, where he was pictured with Vanessa Feltz, who recently said of the alleged plot to kidnap her friend Holly Willoughby, "I am absolutely devastated to be reporting on this story this evening. It's not something I can do as if it," she stutters, then continues, "I don't have any kind of involvement in it. I am absolutely horrified by this." Interesting choice of phrase. We digress. Her other good friend, Phillip Schofield, chose a restaurant named The Little Bird, located in Chiswick, as the place for the two of them to publicly dine following his downfall. Blinkerhole didn't think much at the time about the name of the restaurant, but it did remind us of that phrase. A Little Bird Told Me, and bizarrely the program Feltz works on is called Talk TV. Another coincidence. Interestingly, when we looked up the saying, "A little bird told me," the phrase states that the meaning is that you are not going to say how you found out about something or who told it to you. It also states that the expression is considered old-fashioned in American English. On another occasion, Phillip was pictured enjoying a Bloody Mary at the Weir Bar in Brentford, and as we mentioned in one of our previous videos, Schofield's secret cry for help, we discovered a tiny illustration of a horse on the t-shirt that he wore to a pub called the Roebuck, shortly before Holly Willoughby was pictured with a security guard at the NTA Awards. The image on his t-shirt, on closer inspection and with a little research, is from an illustration from a book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, by Charlie Maxey, who is an alumnus of Queen Elizabeth High School who headed to America training under a portrait painter before traveling back to the UK. Phillip, who has recently and unexpectedly made a cameo on screen twice, once at the NTAs during a tribute to Paul O'Grady and once on a Netflix crime documentary, has also been pictured wearing a t-shirt with the words East Hampton, New York emblazoned across it while wearing cotton wristbands which we believe are said to ward off the evil eye. We also noticed that Phillip has begun to wear the American brand Ralph Lauren and has been pictured wearing it in at least 2 or 3 of the mere handful of public appearances he's made since the scandal, once when pictured shopping and again when recently photographed with his wife and daughter. And of course during his latest public appearance with a mystery man, he was pictured holding a book called In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, an American author. So, what is Phillip Schofield's sudden interest in America? We may never find out, not in our lifetime anyway. And was Prime Minister Rishi Sunak scheduled to make an appearance on This Morning prior to the news of Holly Willoughby's alleged kidnap plot, or was his arrival on set unexpected? The mind truly boggles. It has since been reported that police fear that the alleged plot to kidnap Holly Willoughby could have been planned for next week, and those close to Holly Willoughby say she was shaken, petrified and unable to take in what happened after she learned of the alleged kidnap plot. One said, Holly couldn't believe that she got up one morning and that's how the day went. It is absolutely awful, it's difficult to find the words. Another friend said, there have been several stages of this, which have shocked Holly more as she learned more. Thursday was not a good day for her. It was frightening and distressing as she learned the breakdown of the accusations. It terrified her. On Wednesday night, Holly's life as she previously knew it changed, reportedly for good. Not only does Holly now have police outside her home, but ITV are also taking her safety seriously, installing a sizable, full-time security team to guard her 24/7. Sources say it will stay in place for as long as is necessary. This isn't how Holly wants to live her life, says one friend. She has never lived in fear like this before. It all seems so unfair. It's been reported that Holly's routine was previously managed entirely without any sort of security. Except the media did miss out on the detail of her security guard at the NTAs, as we mentioned earlier. Now it's alleged that Holly Willoughby faces a future surrounded by extensive security. And the question has to be asked. Why? A man has been charged and is in custody. There's no threat to her now. Or is there? Could we see the end of Phillip Schofield wearing American-related paraphernalia? In fact, could we see him disappear from the headlines altogether? We'll have to wait and see. Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only. Keep up to date with our latest investigations and hit the join button. If you like what we do, send us a super thanks. Official Blinkerhole merchandise is available in store.